Hi everyone, welcome to the first video of the Great Guitar Build-Off. This is the one that most of you have probably been waiting for. I know I've talked about it months and months ago, but we're finally getting this process started. Uh, this time, instead of just having my commentary going over the video, I've got Sean and Amber from Motley and Myrtle joining me. So it's going to be a conversation style video, and we're going to keep doing this for the rest of the Great Guitar Build-Off. And hopefully everyone enjoys it. Let me know what you think of this new style, and I may end up keeping it for the rest of my videos.
So here we go. There's me drawing really fast, and this is basically getting the shape of the guitar before I make a template. We're going to do this Al Michaels, John Madden style, where I provide boring commentary, and then Sean and Amber can provide interesting questions and whatever they want.
Here we go. So is this like a specific template or type of guitar body?
So I started with the one that I made for Miles. It was like a Fender Stratocaster style template that I used. And then I decided I want to make it custom, for the theme of this project. So after I drew those lines, and I had my bass line, my center line and everything like that, I'm basically working out because those stay the same and everything else around it, I can kind of design and do whatever I want.
Was leaving the price tag on strategic?
It didn't want to come off. I actually tried and it started to rip the paper a little bit. So you can tell it is pen gear paper that I'm using there.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone has any opinions on that.
I'm for it.
You're for it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm using the correct paper here in designing this guitar. So that means we're off to a great start, and the guitar is going to play awesome, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially pen gear.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So now that we've cleared that up, I don't think the rest of the video matters because we know it's going to turn out awesome.
So this bottom part, where you can see the curve of the line, is that I've seen on the other ones, it's kind of like a slope or a gentle angle,
Like a bevel?
Yeah. Yep. Bevel.
So yes, that is what those lines are. So that was actually the top that you were looking at there. I'm working on the bottom in that shot. So this is the bottom of the guitar that I'm drawing these eyes on, right there. But yes, basically I wanted a type of bevel or something, some sort of elevation change, I guess is the way to put it, on there to give the body like some curves, some shape, things like that. There's something called archtop guitars where basically the whole way around it is sloped. And then the top's flat. This is not like that. It's partially, but not completely. And this I recorded as if I was going to do voiceover, so that's why I'm pointing there.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the pattern of eyes that I plan to carve into it.
Is there a specific reason you drew it on the template?
Yes, to see what it would look like, because if it didn't look good there, I wouldn't even bother trying to put it on the guitar. So even before carving, I will draw out all my lines so that I know where I'm carving, and that way I don't screw it up, because once you carve, there's no going back.
It was to remember the design. That's what it was.
That too, I have a terrible memory, so. Okay, so here's another little addition. That is probably going to be carved, maybe painted on there.
What kind of paper?
That is your standard printer paper, Up and Up from Target.
So this is what people call technical difficulties. So the audio of our conversation will come back. This actually somehow got recorded at like 10 times the speed. I'm guessing it is because I was using my laptop, which is not exactly new nor powerful. So you get to listen to me ramble on for a few minutes, and then we'll get back to the much better conversation that was going on without just me. Now we finally get to cutting some wood after 4.5 minutes of designing. This is just a plain good shot right there. I'm not very good with the plane, so I had to use a leveling beam for the final few passes, just to make sure everything was straight and that we got a good joint. And you can see with the camera, the joint looks pretty good from that angle. So when I glued these together, they actually came out slightly curved, I guess is the right way. So when I planed and leveled the sides of the wood, it was not exactly perpendicular to the top of it. So see right there, it curved up a little bit. I still got a really good joint. It just meant that I had to spend a lot of extra time sanding and leveling out the entire body. Now you don't need a ton of clamps. I only end up using 4 if you have a good joint. The glue's seeping out there, so it doesn't look like a good joint. But in the end, I was very happy with it. So there I am, sanding some of it off, trying to get it nice and level. I spent a lot of time sanding. I didn't have a planer. I didn't have access to one that was wide enough, to be perfectly honest. So that is why I had to sand it that way. So I kept this shot in here just because I like the jigsaw coming in from out of the screen across the screen. I don't know, something about it just made me really like the shot. But I'm basically getting this template started, and it just requires cutting out a lot of the large pieces. Now you are done listening to me, and we're back to the conversation.
Just grab the mic from him. Don't even give him a sign. Take what's rightfully yours. Okay, so bandsaw, use this all the time. The railing does present an issue there,
Yes.
as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you got to get creative. I got it at an angle right there. Like,
Yep.
Well, it'll stand out later if it's not straight, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You can always edit it.
Hey, yeah, you can always edit. You can always buff it out, like as I like to say.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know my name, I'm referred to as Buff.
It's true.
There's the joke. I'm explaining
Yep.
jokes now. This is off to a fantastic start.
It means it's funny.
All right, spindle sander. I think you recognize this spindle sander.
Got the same exact one.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't check before I came over here. Are you sure it's yours? Maybe I should have checked. Actually,
that's a good question. That's a
Okay.
great question.
We might have kleptomaniacs here. I might be working with kleptomaniacs
Yep.
right now.
Somehow got in your car.
Yeah. My car, your car.
So flush router bit, is that?
Yes,
Okay.
bearing on it. So I actually used a neck template for a 6-string there to create my own 7-string neck template here,
Okay.
which is actually longer, but this is straight, and it's got the curves and everything exactly how it should be. So I'm basically piecing it together to make a wider neck.
I'm really liking the pink socks.
Oh, you're noticing my pink sock? It was just before I went to go get some exercise. So, I was sporting those socks.
Need those pink socks to exercise.
Yes. The P stands for power. Power pink.
Power socks.
Power socks. Just like a power ballad being played on this guitar.
Like it.
So there's a template that we need, and I end up cutting that to pieces later. Okay, making the neck pocket. This is probably one of the hardest things for me to do, and I always screw something up on it. I've screwed up necks doing this. I've screwed up templates trying to do this, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm using this 6-string template and making a 7-string template for the neck pocket.
Okay. Does that present some different challenges?
Yes, because not only do I have to do each side, I have to make sure that the middle of it also remains flat, because because everything's sloping in. Those are not perfectly straight edges.
Okay.
So they're all sloping in. So I got to have those angles right, and I got to make sure the back is still the correct, not only width but also flat.
Okay.
So I have to file it down, little bits and pieces there, because it wasn't perfect. But this is, I will tell you, this is probably the best one I have done to this point. It was not perfect.
What made it the best?
Probably the fact that I took my time and I used the straight lines of that other neck to get not only the shape of the side, but those little curves where it goes into the guitar.
Gotcha.
Oh, and this is me using 2 cameras here for the first time. So I have that shot and then the other one you saw.
Fancy.
I know. See? Oh, look at that. We
Ooh.
switch back.
I like it.
I'm trying to improve on this. So I screwed up. I don't know if we... Okay, I think I show this. I hope I show this. Maybe I didn't show it right there. So basically, I had a template that I made off of the previous guitar, but I made the front pieces, the horns, bigger. So it didn't fit on what I had made right there.
Okay.
So basically what I did is I cut out, I tried doing it at an angle, but then the grain of the wood is all weird. So then I basically cut off a piece, and what I was doing in that previous shot was gluing it on to make it...
So now you jointed another smaller piece on for the horn?
I did. And I don't know how this is going to turn out in the end.
Are you worried about a seam or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It seems like it could be a problem.
Are you going with well, maybe it's spoilers, but is it a raw wood finish or is it not going to be covered?
You're going to be able to see the wood grain, I'll say that much.
Okay.
So
definitely could make a difference.
Definitely could make a difference. I'm hoping, we'll see. I'm hoping for a lot of things. And how it's going to turn out, I've got a couple different steps on how I'm going to try to hide it. So we'll see. You're about to see something else here too that I screwed up. Just in case you aren't aware, I screw up a lot of things in woodworking.
Us too.
Oh, I'm not alone.
Daily.
Hey, me too. Hey, we screw stuff up on the daily. I think either we just suck or woodworkers have something in common.
Yeah, it's called woodworking.
Okay. I'm actually going this fast with the angle grinder.
Yeah,
Yeah, see?
I can tell. I've seen it.
It is not sped up one bit.
Nope. So what do you aim for here? Like, how do you know when you've got the right angle that you're looking for?
My heart.
Heart?
Yes. However I'm feeling. I have messed up a neck doing this by going too far.
Yeah.
You know.
I can see that.
But basically, I just try to not go too close to the edges. It is easier to make it a little too thick and then use a rasp if I have to. But this is my favorite part of guitar building. This and the carving that is coming up, like those are the things that I love the most.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. Like every time I get this out, I'm like, I get to shape something. And then as you can see here, it was a flat piece of wood and it looks ugly right now, but you can tell, hey, it's turning into something.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of shape to it.
Is this the same type of wood as the body?
It is not. So this is ash, which I have not really worked with.
What'd you call me? Oh,
that was great. So I've not really worked with it before. It's used in guitar bodies a lot. It's a common wood for that. It's not a common wood for guitar necks because it is very porous. So you can see all the lines and whatnot. And there's lots of little gaps and things like that. It's still strong. So getting a smooth finish out of it is probably going to be a challenge. And there's a few ideas that I have on working around that and filling it.
Okay.
And things like that.
Is it soft also?
No, it's a fairly dense wood. I mean, it's fairly strong. So that's another thing about using wood for necks is it needs to be. That's why maple is very common for necks, because you've got a lot of tension with the strings and all of that.
That makes sense.
And okay, so I cut up the template. I put in the pickup cavities, and now I'm using the router to get the edges where I want them to be. Be thankful that this is muted because it is super loud.
Yep.
And this, I screwed that up.
What did you do?
The wood was brittle, and it was super thin, and you should not try to route a point.
Okay.
And I did.
So what would you do next time?
Not go that close to the edge and use a spindle sander to shape
Yeah.
it down. And that's what I ended up doing in the bottom, which I'm doing right there, is I learned my lesson the first pass, and then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. So I just avoided it, and now I'm sanding it down. It takes longer, but...
So does it happen quite a bit where something like that happens and you end up modifying your body of the guitar?
More often than I would like.
Yeah. Okay.
So I left this shot in because sanding is not very interesting, but the fact that I'm ignoring the camera and it is slowly working its way to the edge, I thought was interesting.
The vibration and the bouncing is just fantastic.
Yes, it's an unclear picture. Oh, look at that! Look how far. When I finally saw this, it was an inch from falling off, and I just bought this camera. That's where it ended up. Look at that.
I like it. Another
great TV here.
Another little mistake to throw in there.
Yep. Okay, this fence I got with my table saw, I use it for anything but the table saw all the time. Like the hundreds of dollars I spent on the table saw was worth it for this fence.
Just for the fence?
Yeah, just for the fence. It works perfect for a bandsaw.
It looks like it works pretty well.
You just clamp it on, you measure it out, and you can move. I used that earlier to route out the truss rod cavity because I needed a straight line. So you I use masking tape and super glue a lot. Throw that down on the table, and then put my fence up, and it's exactly, I can move it so that I get a perfectly straight route.
All right, so is this, I know on, I think one of your last guitars, the angle of the neck was pretty steep.
Uh-huh.
Is this the same, and does the neck ever come off, I guess, straight?
Great question. This one is straight.
Okay.
And it depends on the type of bridge that you're using on what you're doing. So this one's going to be perfectly straight. It is going to be raised above the body. But basically...
Real quick, I know a lot about guitars, clearly. What's a bridge?
So that's the piece at the back of the body where the strings come out of the body or attached to the bridge, and it's right by the pickup. So it's holding the strings up.
Okay.
And then it goes across all the way down the neck and then to the nut.
Okay. I thought so, just making sure.
And there's my test real quick on the template. It is a good fit on my test.
It's a great fit.
Yeah, it holds it up. So yeah, the bridge would be back here behind this cavity.
Okay.
Over here. And so the one I was doing on the previous guitar, it's higher, and so the strings slope. You want them to slope down.
Yes.
And that is why the neck was angled. This bridge that I'm using is flat. It's going to raise them just a little bit, the strings, and then you want it to be going flat.
And does that change the sound too?
That's a matter of opinion that I'm going to say no. People will argue every single little part of a guitar.
Yeah.
They will tell you can't use certain tone woods, and then the brick guitar that I made, I would say is proof otherwise because I use 7 different types of woods, and it sounds fantastic. Okay, there's the fit. And look at that, it stays in there without it falling out. Now, it's not perfect. In this new high definition camera, you can actually see a little, well, there's the strap, a tiny little gap right there, which is not going to be a big deal in the end.
It looks like a pretty good fit anyway, still.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think it came out well, especially since I made the whole thing myself. And then I just didn't make this deep enough, so I'm just carving out way more material and then rasping it. You feeling raspy with all this talking?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Drinking
Okay.
water here.
Okay. Well, the good thing is this video is coming to an end right here. Any last comments?
Why the different color choices? So did you want contrast?
Color choices as far as?
Wood types.
Oh, yes, I do want contrast because of the way I plan to stain it in the.
Ooh, spoilers.